Hello everybody and welcome to the 5 things you probably didn't know about Minecraft. Now, all of these things are going to be things that I never knew about until very recently. I think we should just get into the first one, but before we do, make sure to subscribe as it's just a free way of helping me. Actually, before we get into the first one, I'd like to say we have an honorable mention, which is this world. As you can tell, it's not a normal world. There's an entire ceiling, and if you notice, it looks a lot like the Nether, except overworld. This is just an option you can actually pick in world creation. So yeah, that's why this world looks the way it does. Alright, now let's get into number 1. Now, there's a creeper here, and we're going to grab some arrows here. The ones I picked out are the spectral arrows, arrows of leaping, and arrow of swiftness. You can do this with any potion arrow. So we have a creeper here. He's just in a little hot tub here, I guess. Just didn't want to blow up blocks because we're going to be blowing this guy up. That's why we have the flint and steel. Which, by the way, if you didn't know, you can just set the creepers off with the flint and steel if you didn't know that already. So if you didn't, that's another thing we can add to the list. But what we're doing today is we're going to grab, say, spectral arrows, okay? That's the first one we're going to try. And so if we shoot a creeper with this, it glows. But if we use flint and steel on it, we will see that it looks like there's a potion effect on the ground, which is then given to us. So now we're glowing. You can look on Google. There's like one post about what this is, and besides that, I've never seen it before. And then just lastly, jump boost. We'll see that it works on every single kind of potion. Now let's move on to number 2. What you'll actually need for this is scaffolding and then fast clicking. You have to have pretty decent clicking speed, or you can just use an auto clicker. Now I'm actually going to just pull up a mod here that shows my clicking speed. There's actually a glitch, or we'll call it a feature. How you actually do this is you just spam right click as fast as you can right at the end here. We're going to pick my mouse up so that we may do this quicker. Oh, there we go. It worked. As you can see, there's now just one piece of scaffolding floating. Now, it's somewhat practical. If you jump and then place, you can infinitely go wherever you want. There's nothing here, nothing here, nothing around it. And you can do it in any direction you want. Now, this might not seem practical until you realize that it's every time you click. So let's see if I can do this. You can run for a bit, and if you get good enough at it, you can just travel across lava lakes at whatever speed you want. Okay, and we fall on the easy part. Alright. You can do as far as you want, and another bonus to that is if we grab, say, just a stone block, and let's say you want to use this to get started on a building in midair, right? So you don't have to build out all this way, right? So now, if you actually place a block here, it'll just replace the scaffolding that's there. Moving on to number 3, we actually have something to do with strongholds. Right here, this isn't very descriptive, so I'll just put a picture on the screen now of a way that you can find strongholds a lot easier. There's a pattern to how you can find them. There are different rings, and in each ring, there is a certain number of strongholds. So like the first one has 3, the second ring has 6, I believe the third one has like 10, and so on. So once you know that, you can figure out a bit more where the stronghold will be, and you don't have to use as many ender eyes because you know basically how far out you have to go. And on to number 4. This has to do with the Dream Technoblade Duel. Now there's actually nothing in that chest, but because we're not actually going to be able to show it here, I just here's a Techno and Dream here. Yeah. I just put up a picture from Technoblade's video showing how in PvP, if you are on the low ground tier, you can attack further to someone at the higher point, right? So you are attacking from the point of your head. When your head is closer to their body than their head is to your body, that's how you can get a little bit of an advantage in any kind of PvP scenario. Now moving on to number 5, which is probably one of the craziest ones here. Now it has nothing to do with survival, so you can't use it in survival worlds, but something you can just play around with it, and it's actually really fun and somewhat useful. So here's the debug stick. Now in order to get this, you're going to want to type /give @p or whatever your name is. So we'll put in Dolphinman _Ella. That's my username in game. And then you're going to want to type in debug _stick. If we just go over here, we can see that we have some stuff lined up to test it out on. Well, first things first, let's look at the pathway. This clearly isn't gravel, which is what it looks like from far away. This is actually what grass looks like when it is under some snow. So if we left click here, we can see that it says selected snowy falls. So this is not snowy. And if we left click here, we will see that it is snowy. On different objects, we can see that there are multiple different things that show up when we left click. If we start with selected facing west, if we now right click, if we shift right click, and it will change the direction of this part of the bed. And you can kind of just spin it to wherever you want and back in place. That's not back in place. There we go. The next one is we can show which part of the bed we're selecting. So right now this is the foot of the bed. So if we shift right click, it now changes it to the head of the bed. And we can do that for any of these. We can then rotate that. Yeah, you guys get the point for the beds. You can do some weird stuff, and then if anything is updated, it'll just break them. For the stairs, we can see if we can change the way it's facing. We can change if it's a top or bottom, and then we can change the shape of it. We can change if it's waterlogged. That's it for that. We can also change the way redstone works. We can change like the direction, whether it's up, and we can change its power. Now this doesn't actually affect anything, but changes the look of it. So this is just for debugging. It doesn't really change much, but say for this, for instance, we can rotate it and then change the honey level to 5. We can grab a bottle now, grab honey. So it does change some things forever, including probably the stair, which doesn't change the beds forever. Actually, only updates if you place where it shouldn't be. Next one is the piston, which we can take off the head of it. It does, when it's updated from any direction, it will extend. So if we place that there, place this here, that actually got rid of the block. Okay, I don't know how it works. But now we can change the way it's facing. Same with this. We can change the way it's facing. Trigger doesn't really do anything. For a door, we can change the way these go. Okay, we just changed the... Interesting. And if we just click on the door, it returns back to normal. Tall grass, we can actually change which type of grass it is. So now we have 2 uppers over here and 2 lowers over here. And yeah, it's just a fun thing to mess around with. It's definitely something I did not even realize was in the game. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed them. And I'll see you guys next week.